Today we got something special. Tanner's going to review some Facebook Messenger conversations. I think most of these were submitted by our clients actually, and give some feedback on how you maybe could have done those conversations differently or some other options as to how to kind of improve this skill.
Okay.
And if you are watching this, do us a favor and just say hello in the comments. We'd like to know if anybody watches these. I like talking to Tanner, but it'd be nice if we knew other people were joining us as well.
Yeah, definitely do that, guys.
All right, I'm going to share my screen so that Tanner can see the conversations that we are going to talk about today. So there's several of them. I actually have 5. I don't know if we'll get through all of them, but the first one looks like it's a fitness offer.
Are these all and this is the entire combo?
For this one, this is the entire combo.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So what I'm going to do, and hopefully what the goal is, obviously not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just going to try to give constructive criticism so that it helps you. But I'm not trying to make you cry or anything. So as we're going through this, just keep this in mind, like it's to help you. And so hopefully, just try to get value out of it. All right. So I don't know the whole context of this convo. It looks at the top.
It looked like this first one, it was a reply to a IG story or a Facebook story. And then I looked like it was the first thing is in context to this story.
Got it. You replied to Justin's story. Okay, cool. Okay. So it looks like they replied to this client on their story. And then they said, been off keto for a minute, not shedding weight like I want. So he's struggling. And then the very next thing you send is an entire pitch, which is what you never want to do. Guys, the number one rule of sales is no one wants to feel like they're sold to, right? They need to feel like it's their idea. So the way you should think about sales is, let's say you have a little daughter and you want her to wear the red outfit, right? And you have 3 outfits on the bed. Instead of saying, hey, wear the red outfit, you may say, hey, the red outfit looks pretty cool. What do you think about wearing that one today? And then she's like, yeah, the red one, right? You've seen that with kids all the time. So it's the same thing here. All I would have done is ask a very simple question. So he said, I'm really struggling. I lost a little weight, but, I need to keep going. And then I would have said, okay, cool. Have you ever tried anything else besides keto or worked with a coach? Just something very basic. Instead, he told you his problem, and then you literally went to an entire pitch where you start talking about your clients. He hasn't even demonstrated that he's interested in what you have to offer, and he probably doesn't want to be sold to the very second response that you give, right? Because the first response is, hey, just want to know what happened. I'm curious. So he's like, oh, he wants to know more about me and my story. And then the very next thing you send is an entire pitch, right? And you're saying, oh, so I don't know if you see my testimonials, but it's about macros and this and that. And he's like, oh, okay. Now, I don't know what happened after that, but then he says, I need some help. And then you said, okay, awesome, brother. I'm going to send a link to schedule a call. Okay, so what I would do instead is I say, cool, do you have 5 to 10 minutes to book a call right now? And then you need to make some type of scarcity, because that's going to happen in Messenger all the time. Is if you just send a booking link and pray that they fill it out, more times than not, they won't. Okay. So one of 2 things, you can either say, hey, awesome. What time works for you tomorrow? 10 or 12, give them an option and book it for them. Or 2, you say, cool, do you have 5 to 10 minutes to fill it out right now? And then you can say whatever you want. What I would say is something around, it's going to time out, or the slots are going to fill up. Slots are going to fill up sounds kind of salesy. So I might say it's going to time out. That's what we like to say, right? Hey, we need you to click the link now. It's only going to stay active for 30 minutes. Because if you don't give them a reason, go ahead, Molly.
I was going to say, so it sounds like on this one that we don't want to get into the pitch right away. You want to ask some more questions to offer some alternative options before you start talking about your clients. Number 2 is don't just send a booking link and disappear. Instead, offer some time slots or potentially get on a call right then. And don't make it sound like the offer is good forever. You want to have some kind of time urgency so that people take action.
Yeah. And then I don't know how fast we're trying to move. Sorry. So I'll go a little faster. And then at the end, just when you're following up, I would just say something like, you could say something funny that's going to get a response. So you could say something like, did you die? LOL. Or sometimes I'll say stuff like, hey Casper, are you still there? LOL. Like I'll just say something that's kind of funny. It's kind of witty. They're going to laugh, probably think it's stupid. And I think that's super important. So that's my advice on this combo.
And just kept curiosity. So let's say that you didn't do it right, and you get to the situation where you sent the link and the person is just kind of ghosting you. So that's where you're saying come back and have kind of a humorous, witty response.
Yeah, because I like the follow up. I like the fact that you're being aggressive, but he's obviously ignoring you. So I would say something like, yo, dude, did you die? LOL. If he still ignores me, then I say, hey man, I'm gonna back off and leave you alone. I was just genuinely trying to help. So if you actually want help, let me know. And that link's above, okay? God bless. And then move on. Because at that point, you've already kind of messed up and it's kind of hard to fix. Right?
Got it.
So there's a lot. The funny thing is, as much as you messed up, you still probably could have pushed them through, but those are a few things that'll make it work better in the future. So guys, like if you're ever really trying to make someone book and you just want to get it done ASAP, do it yourself, right? Don't send people XYZ links. Now it's a little harder to scale, but at the same time, if you are not getting a lot of calls and you're having this happen, just be like, hey, what time works tomorrow? And fill it out for them. Right? And then just say, cool, here's a link, watch this, see you tomorrow. Anyways, that's my take.
Okay. All right. The second one, hopefully I had to put it on a lot of different sheets because of the way it was formatted. So this
How
is
far down does it go?
There are, I think, 4 or 5 pages.
Okay. So, hey, Jeannie, quick note to welcome to this group. I'd like to see something about our resources. Okay. Guess you're smiling. Awesome in your space. Yeah. So I would just keep the questions more pointed. Okay. So if someone comes in our group, here's what I would have done. Hey, Jeannie, just wanted to welcome you to the More Money, More Sales group. We like to make sure that everyone gets X, Y, and Z training. Did you get that yet? Stop. No, I didn't get that. Cool. What's your best email? Also, what business do you do? So I know if I can send you more relevant training. Like you basically had a great opener that could have been really good. And then you went back to personal questions, which guys, personal questions, they're great. Yeah. But only really when you're doing cold outreach. When it's someone who's interested and replying in ads, you need to get them to book a call as fast as possible before they drop off, right? Because the average human being is, they're walking around, they got distractions, they're going to go eat. You need to move them through the conversation as quickly as possible. So this first slide, all I would have done is that first message, I could critique it, but overall it was pretty good. Where you messed up was the start going into the personal. I just would have left it right there and asked your next question that's going to push them to the call. That's my advice on that one.
All right. So I will just kind of move on to the next conversation. Okay. Yes. All right, here's conversation number 3.
Okay. Conversation number 3. Hey, Christy, it's quick note. Okay.
It's the same offer, different conversation.
Cool. So, okay. So part of this is going to determine if you're pushing to a set call, right? So a set call would be 15 minutes, or you're pushing to a sales call, right? So we do both. We're actually I shouldn't say we're transitioning. We're trying out pushing to a set call over pushing straight to a sales call from the group. So this one, you had a good opener. You went right into, hey, where's your business at? Nothing's wrong yet. I don't see anything too wrong with that. Let me keep going. Okay, go to the next one. That one looks decent. Looks all right.
That was all I had. I think it kind of just, they ghosted.
Yeah, so, okay, so this isn't bad. So let me walk you through. It just may be you structuring your conversation a little better. Don't ask, if you're going to push them to a Zoom call, or it looks like here you're pushing to a sales call. Is that accurate, Molly? Do you know? I
I
can't.
think
The
so. I'm
15.
just making the assumptions you are. It looks like that.
Okay. Okay. So if it's a sales call, there's not much else you could have done. I think overall it's not bad. You're not even asking them to do an application. So it's a very soft like ask because you're not even doing anything. What I would do instead though is if you're just trying to get them on the phone in general, right? Say it's like a 15-minute call and then you could set a sales call. What I would have done different, if you want to go back to the beginning, Molly, is just structure it like this. So you have a great opener and then just say, I would have a training. Okay. So your opener would be, hey, Christy, just wanted to welcome you to the More Money, More Sales group. I like to make sure that everyone gets X, Y, and Z training. Did you get that yet? And it doesn't matter if you know she got it or not. That's irrelevant. Okay. You're trying to get her to say, it doesn't matter if she says yes or no. So she'll say, no, I didn't see it. Or yes, I saw it. Okay, cool. What's your email? Okay, or however you're going to send it. Okay, cool. Let me send that to you. Also, what's your core business? I might have other trainings that are relevant to your situation. Okay, she's going to go, oh, I do X, Y, and Z. So immediately after that, I would just say, okay, got it. I definitely have more trains that will help you. But to be honest, it's probably not going to get you to, X amount a month. That's your goal. Do you have 5 to 10 minutes to chat later today? I can walk you through some of the frameworks that our clients are using. Also, it's not a sales pitch, LOL. Send. And like those are all separate messages. If that's your goal is to push to a call as fast as possible, that's what I would do. Make it about trainings and value. Don't say anything about, oh, are you looking for a coach? Yeah, I could probably help you. You got time to hop on a call today? Just make it all about the trainings and then say, yeah, like I can hop on a call with you and walk you through some of the frameworks. You got 10 minutes. And so when they know it's 10 minutes and they know it's quick, their walls go down as well because they know it's not a sales call. So based off this conversation, you're not too far off the mark. I would just adjust slightly. And I think you'll make a lot better. You'll get a lot more people on the phone. Now, if you're pushing to a sales call, you're going to have more drop off. But if you're just trying to push to, let's say, a 10 or 15-minute call, and then qualify on that call and then set a sales call, that's how I would change. Hope that helps.
And if you're good on that 10-minute call and you can create some real connection with people, your odds of connecting that
Yeah.
full call are going to go up a lot.
Well, and guys, like I can post, I'll post like a practice, I'll post like a 10-minute call I've done, but really once you get on the call and you start asking them about their business, you go through the questions and then at the end you can just say, cool. So I'm also curious, are you looking for help? Like, are you in a mastermind right now? Or are you just curious? Like you're just trying to find info, where you at? And people will tell you at that point, yeah, like I'm actually looking for help. And then that's when you can offer and say, cool. So like, I'm going to send you those other relevant trainings we discussed on the call today. But if you want to, go through more of the frameworks on a longer call and then see what it could possibly look like to work with us, I can set that up as well, but there's no pressure. I want this to be something you want to do. The goal, guys, and I think people forget this, the goal is not to set as many calls as possible. The goal is to set calls that will close, right? There's no point in, like, some of these people have massive sales teams and their sales guys have 8 million calls a month, but they make the same amount of money as my sales guys because we don't just book their calendars to book their calendars, right? So my top closers make 30 to 40 a month on commission. So anyways, that's my advice on that. But overall, you're doing pretty good. It's a little bit of coaching and a little bit of adjustment. You'll start getting a lot more.
All right, next conversation is actually from LinkedIn, which we don't have as many people use that, but thought I'd include that one here as well.
Yeah, LinkedIn. I hate LinkedIn. All right, here we go. Am I allowed to say that? It's like a curse word on here. Okay, so hey Manny, go the first one. I came across your profile, love to connect. How's everything been? All the craziness, everything been and all the craziness going on. How wonderful is your weekend? No problem. Let's see. Okay, okay. So a little personal convo. Okay, next one. Here's over experience. So are they the person? I'm assuming. Okay, they're the person who is with the picture, correct?
Yeah, the one that says you is the person selling.
Okay, so I'd probably, yeah, I mean, you can't be as aggressive as a Facebook group. So I kind of view this is like a cold DM. This is like a cold DM. So when anything with cold DM, this is what I've always found to be the easiest transition into talking about business, right? The fastest. So there's so many different types of scenarios. It's hard to give one, but whenever I would do cold DMs, I would always compliment. So if you go back to the first slide, Molly, you did good there, right? You did, hey, just came across the profile, wanted to connect, da da da. And then immediately at some point, I want to say, what do you do for work? And then once they tell me, I like to say, something like, oh, does that keep you busy? I can't imagine, and you said you had like 4 kids, right? Add something to it so they're not just like, why are you asking if it keeps me busy? And then as soon as they say yes, because everyone says they're busy, even if they're not, because no one wants to say I'm lazy, then you transition into work and say, oh, is that making it hard to, grow your business? I saw that you're doing this. Do you have time to do that stuff? And now you're kind of into the business conversation. I thought this went, let's see this, go to the second slide again. So I'm curious where the rest of the combo is. That's it.
Yeah, I got the impression that because I got only the 10 screenshots that it sort of just ended here.
Like stop. Overall, it's actually not that bad because that's basically a cold DM. So you actually moved it pretty fast. If you look, you said not too far from where I lived. And then you said, how's it going this weekend work so far? And he responded. So at that point, you're now in the sales conversation. So you actually did pretty good. A little different than I would do it, but it actually worked. But at that point, you need to start just asking very simple questions. So when he says, it's been really slow to tell you the truth, just want to provide valuable, I'd say, instead of saying, who do you send the videos out to? I'd say, oh, awesome, man, that sounds great. What's the biggest struggle been with that? Are people responding? ? I also do this. And then he responds. And then I would have said, just like try to get it off him asking you questions. You want to ask questions to keep in control. So then I would have said, he says, oh, I struggle with this. And I said, cool, what else have you tried? Have you tried anything else or just the videos? And then he's going to say, oh, I've done this. And then from there, I would say, okay, totally get that. You ever been in any coaching programs? Like, are you a beginner or have you actually been in coaching programs before? And all of a sudden it's like, he's going to keep answering at that point, and then you can go for your close. So overall, this wasn't bad. I would just try to keep the conversation off you. And then honestly, if you look at the conversation, you're doing what I said. So the very last comment, I wish I could see the rest of the combo. You said kind of, why do you think you don't get a response? This is the same as, what are you struggling with? And then he answered. So then I just would have said, cool, what else have you tried? Have you ever had a coach? And then at the end, you offer advice. And the way I offer advice on a cold DM, I say, cool, dude. So not trying to overstep my boundaries, but I actually do X, Y, and Z, and we do X amount of revenue a month or whatever your authority is. And then say, I don't know if you have 10 minutes or not, but if you want, I can just give you, a quick call and try to give you some direction. Let me know. And then from there, he's either going to say yes or no or move on. Overall, I actually think this is a pretty good combo. I just don't know what the rest of it is. So I gave my advice there, but if you look at it, you're actually doing most of those things right. I just would keep stuff more short and to the point, guys. Don't do long paragraphs. Don't send big things. Like, you want it as short as possible to keep the questions pointed, and they only answer what you need to know. But overall, it's pretty good. I actually think it's pretty good.
All right, here's the last one. This looks like a fitness offer, and it's on 2 slides. So this is sort of the first few screenshots.
I love fitness. Okay, so it looks like they're coming in the Facebook group again. Okay. So right off the bat, I like the opening. They're going to the training. I like the trainings. What I would do instead though, is don't ask what trainings they want. Just say, hey, I have 2 trainings I try to give everyone. 1, 2, did you get these? Oh, no, I didn't get these. Oh, awesome, cool. I'm going to send those to you right away. Also, what's your main goal, right? So then I would say also, what's your main goal? Let's see. Let me read it before I start giving advice. Have you tracked macros? I have. Okay, great. Fat loss trend data weekends. Yes, I know 1200 weekends. Just go. Did she push to a sales call? Can you tell? Go to the next slide. Let's see if she pushes to a call. It's just hard to know if they're pushing to a sales call or a 15. Okay, that makes sense. For okay, that makes sense. Okay, 4 days a week. Great.
She's pushing to a sales call in that third column on the second.
Yeah, so you're pushing to a sales call. Okay, so guys, keep in mind, if you're pushing straight to a sales call, the conversation will have to be longer and it will be more difficult. So with that being said, go back to the first slide. The other option, guys, is for everyone's like, well, what else could I do? You can push to a 10 or 15 minute call. Now, ideally, I don't like most of my clients do that just because they don't have big teams. But if you have a big team, you can really do either or, because you're just trying to you're trying anything on the phone is going to be better than Messenger always. Messenger is very powerful, but it's behind calls. So I would change the training question. I would just say, hey, Tiffany, wanted to welcome you to the group. I have 2 trainings. Did you get those? No. Cool. What's your email? Also, what's your main goal? I might have other relevant trainings for you. Try that. Okay. And then I also, the other thing is, you're talking about macros. Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that, because I think the issue, here's my opinion in fitness, it's a little different. It's actually not different at all. It's in every industry. If you tell people right off the bat what you do, so your name gives it away, macro masterclass, guess what? If they've done it before, so she says, I have and am currently, either you got lucky here, but she might love it, she might hate it. And if she thinks she knows what you're doing, she's going to be less interested to buy from you. Because, like, guys, the number one rule of sales is you have to show people the old way, what they're doing currently doesn't work, and the new way of what the new way is going to work. And these are all the things they're not doing. That's ultimately, yes, there's a lot more things in sales, but that's really ultimately why people buy. Okay. So if someone gets on a sales call with me and they say, yeah, dude, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yeah, I already do all those things. Why would I pay them? Right. But if they go, so Tanner, you're doing all these things. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, but we do all these things. And you've never done that before, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that's why you're not making as much. That obviously makes linear logical sense. So what I would have changed on this is just said, what's your goal? I can try to send you more relevant trainings around that. Okay. I wouldn't bring up your macros, and I would change the name of your file. I would not call it macro masterclass. I would call it something else. Okay. From there, you said, great. What do you have them set up for? And then you start asking, what's your biggest issue? Awesome. Okay. Weekends, 3 kiddos. Okay. The one where she says, it sounds like you are really busy, and then on the weekends, being away from the family, out eating tends to throw things off. I wouldn't have asked that. I don't think that's relevant. So say, what's been your biggest issue? She tells you. Say, okay, got it. What else have you tried? Or whatever other information you need. At this point, she's doing macros. So I'd say, what's your struggle? Oh, the weekends. Okay. And then I might have said, see, okay, how about far do you think? Yeah, you're asking too many questions. So from there, you start screwing up. You're like, oh yeah, stress is a sneaky villain. With calorie cycling is the intent to have higher days on the weekend and lower days during the week. I just would have said, you heard her struggle. I would have said, cool. I said, got it. So are you doing this self-taught, or are you doing this with a coach? Because ultimately, you already know what she's trying. She's trying what you're going to teach her. Okay, so you can't, the only other reason I would ask what have you tried is if she's doing keto, something that you're not doing, so you can basically badmouth it. So she's like, yeah, well, I've tried keto. And you're like, oh, that's why it's not working. You're doing keto. And she's like, oh, but here she's doing macros and you do macros. So I would skip that question and just go, you ask what her goal is, you ask what her struggle is, and then you go off in this banter, which I don't think it actually goes anywhere. You actually risk the chance that she falls off. So just say, have you ever worked with a coach before? Are you currently working with a coach, or is this self-taught? Go to the next slide, Molly. you would have cut out half that convo and time and energy, right? And then when you get here, let's see, got some changes. Yeah, and then I just would have stopped. You stop, you just keep going on and on and on and on, and it's super irrelevant. So I would have said, are you doing this self-taught? You have a coach? And then she would have said, oh, I have a coach right now. Or she would have said, oh, I'm doing this self-taught. Okay, so if she said she had a coach, I would have said, okay, why do you think it's not working then? That seems odd that you have a coach, but you're not getting the results you want. Right? Because if she has a coach and you're going to get her to hire you, you have to basically get her to think her coach isn't good. Guys, like, that's sales. Everything they say, you have to basically it's not like you're not trying to be derogatory, but it's like you have to get them to think, well, what you're currently doing isn't working. This is what you're missing. That's why you're not getting results. So let's just say she said she was self-taught. Well, I'm self-taught. From there, I just would have said, oh, awesome. Okay, well, I don't know if you'd be open to this. I don't want to overstep my boundaries. Guys, before you like push on someone, you always kind of want to pull back. Okay, so it's called push-pull. Okay, so let's say my girlfriend makes me upset. Okay, so I don't just want to start cussing her out, right? You stupid little this, that doesn't help, right? But if I was like, hey babe, I just want you to know I love you so much. Like, I really appreciate everything you've done this week, but it really bothered me when you did that. Do you just think in the future, like, you cannot do X, Y, and Z? You will get a much better response, right? Right? Molly's probably laughing, but you're going to get a better response. You're going to get a better response because before you ask them to do something, you like acknowledged like, hey, is it okay if I sell you? Right? So what you said there is you said, you need to make some adjustments, but you basically told her that, right? And I would just have said something different. I would have asked for permission, just said, and you kind of did. You said, would you be open to a 30, 40-minute consult? But instead, I just would have said, well, look, I don't know if you're open to it or you're looking for more help, but I definitely have some ideas that I think would help you. If you want to hop on a quick call, 10 minutes or so, let me know, and I can run through some of those things through you and send you more like relevant information, right? Other than that, if you're going to go straight to a sales call, I think if you adjust the middle part of your conversation and then go to the end, I think you did pretty much everything you could do. Because once you pitch, if they don't want to do it, guys, that's just some people will ghost. Like, some people will. I think the biggest issue in this conversation is in the middle. You made it too long. There was no reason to be asking all these extra questions because you can ask on the sales call. All you want to know, guys, when you get on calls with people is, what's your goal? What are you struggling with? What have you tried? Do you want help? Right? And hypothetically, even better would be if they have money. Number one thing, guys, is if someone doesn't want help and or they don't have money to pay for it, it's irrelevant if they want to get on calls or this or that, right? So really, you need to make sure when you're asking questions, is the question getting you closer to the sale or is it just filler? And if you look at, like, I'd say the first 2 slides here, it's all filler. None of that is necessary. I could have cut that all out, gone to my next question, and we probably would have cut this conversation in half, which means you get a message twice as many people, twice as many combos, twice as many sales. One of the reasons people ask me, and then we're going to wrap up. One of the reasons people go, Tanner, how'd you make money so fast, right? Like, anyone can make $1 million, but how fast do you do it, right? So it's because I'm very efficient, right? So when I'm on a call with someone or I'm in Messenger, I only ask or say what's going to move the conversation closer to my goal, or I won't ask it, right? There's a difference between trying to make sales and then trying to, have chat or banter, right? At the end of the day, yes, you want to be nice to people, but you're not trying to be their friend. You're trying to coach them, right? So other than that, I thought the convos overall were pretty good, though. So that's my take for today. I thought the convos were decent. They just need a little tweaking. Oh. I think you're on mute.
One thing that would be great if you watch this, just to help you kind of get some value out of it, put in the comments like one thing you learned that you're going to apply in one of your conversations. Just typing it up will help you kind of register that little nugget of wisdom in your own memory. And we'd be curious to see what you kind of learn from this as well.
Wait, you want? Oh, you asking me? Or you telling them?
I'm asking people watching. You're
Okay,
welcome to type in the comments what you learned, Tanner, but I don't know if you need to do that.
I learned a lot today. This is great.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks everybody for watching. And we actually got a lot of people submitted conversations. So if we can get some more time on Tanner's calendar, we'll do another one of these.
Cool. Yeah, guys, hope this helped. I think if you watch this live, put live. If you watch the replay, put replay. And then if you have questions, drop them in the comments and we'll try to get to it. Thanks for being here today and thanks for setting it up, Molly.
All right. No problem. Have a good day.
All right. See you guys.